my name is Mrs. McGivern and I teach history at Moorside High School. Today, I'm going to be going through what it's like to take GCSE history as an option subject. At Moorside, we study the EduCAS exam board, and this comprises of two different components. The first component is the British depth study. And we've decided for this one to do the Elizabethan age 1558 to 1603. Now this is paper 1 and this won't be studied until the beginning of year 11. As you can see in terms of the content, we start off with the Elizabethan government, we look at the lifestyles of the rich and poor, we look at things like popular entertainment, the problem of the religion and the problems that she was faced with in terms of religion, the Catholic threat, the Spanish Armada and the Puritan threat. Now in terms of how this is assessed, it's a written exam and it is 1 hour long. It's worth 53 marks, which comprises 25% of the GCSE. And this particular paper encourages learners to use things like historical documents in order to answer questions. And these historical documents will obviously be coming from the Elizabethan period. And it also encourages learners to look at different historical interpretations during specific events and issues. Now, paper 2 is also part of component 1 and it's a non-British depth study. And for this one, we've decided to do Germany in transition from 1919 to 1939. Students will study this in the second half of year 10. And what this comprises of is the impact of the First World War on Germany, the recovery of the Weimar Republic and the end of the Weimar Republic, the rise of Hitler, his consolidation of power, Nazi economic, social and racial policy, terror and persuasion, and Hitler's foreign policy too. Again, like paper 1, this is a 1 hour paper and it's worth 53 marks, which comprises of 25% of the actual GCSE. Again, this is a historical source paper, so students will be encouraged to look at a wide range of historical sources. And also be encouraged to study different historical interpretations in regards to specific events and issues. Now, component 2 is our period study. And for this, we decided to do the development of the USA, 1929 to 2000. So this will be the paper 3. Now, we start with this in year 10. And the content covered, as you can see, starts with Wall Street crash in 1929 and how the USA recovers from that. We look at the economic impact of the Second World War. We look at things like the issue of civil rights between 1941 and 1970. We look at political change, so looking at all the different leaders from Kennedy right up until Bill Clinton. And we look at social change as well. We look at the way in which teenagers' lives have changed throughout this particular period in the USA, and we look at the changing lives of women too. In addition to that, we look at the Cold War rivalry, we look at the different events within the Cold War, and then finally we look at the search for peace since 1970, and we look at the involvement of the USA in the Middle East. Now this particular paper is 45 minutes long and it's worth 40 marks, which comprises of 20% of the final mark. And this particular component encourages learners to develop an understanding of these second order concepts that we always use in history. In particular, things like continuity, change, cause, consequence, significance, and similarity and difference. In addition to that, we study within component 2 is the thematic study. And this is changes in crime and punishment in Britain from 500 AD right up until the present day. So in terms of the content covered, we look at things like the causes of crime right back from the medieval period to present day. We look at the nature of crime and how that's changed. So we look at the crimes that were committed, say, in the medieval period, the Tudor period, the industrial period, and then right up until modern day. And again, we look at policing and law and order. So we look at the ways in which policing has developed throughout the ages. And then finally, we look at the different methods of combating crime. So we look at the different punishments that occurred from medieval times right up until modern day. Now, a part of this component, we do a study of a historic environment. And for this particular year's historic environment, we'll be looking at Pentonville Prison, from 1842 to the present day. So that would be looking at the changes that have happened within the prison system, within that particular prison. This particular written exam is 1 hour 15 minutes. It's 64 marks, which basically adds up to 30% of the whole GCSE. And again, this particular unit or component, encourages learners to develop an understanding of those second order concepts that I mentioned before, like continuity, change, cause, consequence, significance, and again, similarities and differences. So what are the benefits for GCSE or taking GCSE history? So I always think in a digital age, we're bombarded with a huge amount of information. A good history education will enable students to see beyond the surface and understand why certain pieces of evidence are produced. And also, history education also provides students with the skills that are vital to get on in the 21st century. It enables students to train their minds to assemble, organise and present facts and opinions. And this is excellent preparation for a variety of different jobs. In addition to that, history is also seen as an academic subject. It's valued by employers and universities alike, and it also develops an awareness of the past and the part it plays in today's world. It develops sound logical thinking and the ability to form judgments, and it develops skills of research and essay writing value both in post-16 education and in the world of work. And I've also listed a variety of different careers that history could help you, get into. If there's any more information about this particular GCSE, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me via email. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.